A very good evening. It is the 6th day of June 2024. This is Lookup News. We've got lots lined up for you this evening. Before we get into all of that, here are the top stories. Tonight on Lookup News, the National Assembly approves the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025.
One man, one vote, one shilling. I agree totally.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga now says he supports the one man, one shilling debate, insisting that the conversation should be about equity and not equality. And 46% of Kenyans are not aware of the finance bill. A poll released by Infotrack now shows. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is Lookup News. I am Nancy Nelima. Our sign language interpreter is Josephine Oko. Let's begin. The National Assembly today debated on the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025. In the estimates, the government has set aside 3.9 trillion shillings to be distributed to different departments, with the energy sector among those set to greatly benefit. Recurrent spending will take a huge chunk of the funds, a whopping 1.5 trillion shillings, with the consolidated fund receiving 1.2 trillion shillings. 729.9 billion shillings will be channeled to development.
Honorable Speaker, the bill before us is, as Honorable Nikal has put it, is exactly what we were debating yesterday, Honorable Speaker, and I do not need to belabor the point. The point is that, Honorable Speaker, that we are now having a supplementary tool. Generally speaking, it is for tidying up the government financials and especially giving cognizance to the fact that we are crossing the year in June in a few days' time, and a lot has changed, and especially around interest rates, Honorable Speaker, and therefore we had to revise our CFS to reflect the current dynamics in the interest rates market and also in the exchange rate market, Honorable Speaker. And for that reason, we will be moving to the Committee of the Whole House, Honorable Speaker, so that members can get a chance to contribute even to the specifics, Honorable Speaker, and therefore I do not wish to belabor the point. All the points that we gave yesterday starts, that the appropriations that we are doing today is adding Kenya shillings 4 billion to fertilizer. It is adding, Honorable Speaker, some money to the security agencies, Honorable Speaker, it into flood mitigation and issues around supporting Kenyans who have been heavily affected by the vagaries of the weather and excessive rains. And Honorable Speaker, we are also getting this money from what I insinuated there before, from especially CFS, where we anticipate to pay lower than budgeted in the supplementary one interest rate for our financial obligations, both domestically and externally. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, also, it is the same appropriations bill that will be giving authority so that the bodyguards and drivers for the members of this House also get their fair deal of arrears that have been pending from January. As members know, these are members with their own families, they have their lives, whereas other civil servants are facilitated. The bodyguards and drivers in this House, Honorable Speaker, have not been receiving their dues due to the constraints of money, Honorable Speaker. And in appropriating this
has revealed that 46% of Kenyans are unaware of the Finance Bill 2024. According to the report, 54% are, however, conversant with the Finance Bill 2024, as Shamila Baraza now reports.
In a recent Infotrack report released today, it has revealed that nearly half of Kenyans, specifically 46%, are aware of the Finance Bill 2024. The report, based on a survey conducted between May 23rd to 29th among 1,700 respondents aged above 18 years, indicated that the remaining 54% are conversant with the Finance Bill 2024.
Significant, slightly above 54% are conversant, or they are aware that there exists a finance bill.
Interestingly, the report highlighted regional disparities in awareness of the finance bill. For instance, the majority of respondents in the central region at 62% are aware of the bill, while 41% of respondents in the eastern region are knowledgeable about it.
Awareness seems to be high in this region, central region, 62%. They claim they are aware of the finance bill. The least awareness is in northeastern, that is at 46%. Fact. Remember we asked after, are you aware? The second thing you've heard about this finance bill 2024. What impact will it have in the economy? 54% are still saying it will have, actually 77% say they will not have any impact at all. So we've seen that it has been really touted a lot, but I feel the impact in the economy will only be felt by about 13% who say yes, once this finance bill is passed, it will have a good impact on the economy. But nearly 8 in 10 says whether it is passed, zero impact.
The survey, however, revealed strong opposition among Kenyans to the proposed introduction of a tax on financial transactions and insurance services. The findings, based on data collected between May 23rd and 29th, highlight significant disapproval of the proposed 16% VAT on financial and insurance services. According to the survey, a mere 3% of adult respondents aged between 35 and 45 expressed support for the proposed tax. Furthermore, only 3% of the female adults endorsed the tax on finance and insurance services.
But that 10% was also moved to 12%. Beside the 12, now we're going to have another 16% VAT on that particular transaction. Again, only 4% support it. It's rejected by 86%. 10%, they are not sure. They don't know whether to support or reject. Remember, this is sure whether the passage of the finance bill will have any positive impact on the economy.
Martin Masharia, Lookuptv.
Right, and that story has been done by Martin Masharia. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has waded into the controversy surrounding the push for one man, one vote, one shilling revenue sharing formula, stating it is the right way to go. As Stanley Lugaria now files, Odinga noted that he is embracing the debate with an open mind, insisting that it is an open conversation.
The talk around one man, one vote, one shilling seems to be slowly resuscitating and gaining momentum.
One person, one shilling, one vote. The answer to it is to implement devolution fully.
After being presented resolutions of the Limuru 3 meeting by the Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni and Governor Nderitu Murudhi on Thursday, after a lengthy consultative session at ODM party headquarters with Raila Odinga endorsing the resolutions as agreed, urging that the details and struggles as discussed continue uniting Kenyans and freedom of expression.
And that's why we're saying, you agree with this phrase that is one man, one vote, one shilling.
Raila said the constitution gives room for equity in sharing resources based on several people per region, stating that he still endorsed the proposal which was in the BBI, believing it was time for discussions around the same.
But in the devolution, we talked about equity in sharing of resources in our country.
Raila has further indicated a hard stance against proposed Finance Bill 2024-2025, insisting that Kenyans are hurting by the increased and high cost of living.
But know that Kenyans are hurting seriously currently, and the proposals which are contained in Finance Bill are going to add a lot of burden on the people of Kenya.
Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni added that the team attending the Limuru 3 agreed to form the Haki Group, with former President Uhuru Kenyatta as its leader, vowing not to relent on the talk around one man, one vote, one shilling, as well as the development of the region was also discussed in length.
And we also agreed, and it has been mentioned, that the mantra of one man, one vote, one shilling is a thing that we are not going to relent pushing, not because it benefits people in the mountain. That's far from it. It actually benefits every other person in this country.
Among those attending Thursday meeting included Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi, Governor Simba Arati and Wycliffe Oparanya, Senator Godfrey Osotsi, Seme MP James Nyikal, Busia Women Rep Catherine Omanyo, MPs Raphael Wanjala and Amos
ODM Party Leader Raila Molo Odinga. Sentiments of one man, 1 shilling, 1 vote as proposed in the BBI took center stage. Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, as public participation in the Finance Bill 2024-2025 gathers pace, Majid Hussein was on the streets earlier today to get a feel of what Kenyans have to say regarding the bill being fronted by the National Assembly Finance and Economic Planning Committee.
Of Nairobi, we are hitting the streets to ask a question. Do you think that the government is overtaxing Kenyans? This is your opinion matters.
Mimi siongei mengi sababu maisha lakini sisi tunategemea aliye juu. Hiyo ndio sasa tegemeo letu. Huku kwingine hakuna matumaini. Watu ni wengi sana wanalala njaa.
Kulingana ile maoni wametoa do itapitishwa. Nikikuwa itakuwa hivyo tutakuwa overtax. Ambapo mtu wa chini atakuwa kwa shida. Kila kitu kiko juu. Ukienda kwa unga unapata iko juu, ukienda kila kitu kisai iko juu. Kwa hivyo unaona hiyo serikali siku hizi inatupinya sana.
Na mimi vile mimi naona sisi kama tu raia wa Kenya kusema kweli tukiguza mataksi namna hiyo, hakika kusema kweli tutaumia zaidi. Sasa ukienda kwa magari naona pia inaongezwa ndio bei kama ni bus fares inakuwa namna hiyo. Kila kitu kiongezwa kama ni kila kitu yani. Kama nisikia mkate tumeshaongezewa. Kimeongezwa mkate sasa kila kitu kinaongezeka. Inaonekana ni mbaya sana. Tukipiga mwaka mwingine kutakuwa takubaya zaidi.
Katika hali hii ya ushuru tunasikia kama wananchi inatufinya sana, maana hatuelewi mbona tunatoa ushuru wa hali ya juu na maisha bando inaendelea kutufinya. Maana katika hali ya uchumi inaendelea kwenda juu na tungetaka zaidi kama Mkenya wa kawaida tuwe na unafuu katika hali ya taxation.
President William Ruto is justifying the increased taxes as the only way to bail the country out of the debt crisis, as Kenyans disagree that the future is blurry. Majid Hussein, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, barely a month after a banditry attack in Kamologon along West Pokot and Elgeyo-Marakwet counties border that left a 7-year-old girl dead. This morning, suspected bandits from the neighboring county of Elgeyo-Marakwet ambushed Kamilimi village in West Pokot with heavy gunfire and drove away an unknown number of livestock. In response, the affected community took to the streets, interrupting normal activities along Kapsangar-Kamile Road.
Despite heavy police presence in the vast North Rift region on area residents, the most recent attacks in Kamile village in Elgeyo-Marakwet resulted in the theft of livestock, prompting community protests and disrupting business along Kapsangar-Kamile, the locals blaming security forces for perceived inaction.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa hapa Kamile. Yangu tu ningeomba kitu moja na naongelesha Mheshimiwa Duale. Wewe mwenyewe ulikuja Kapushen na ukasema KDF itaenda Kamalokon muda ya siku 7. Sasa ni miaka 1 haijawahi kuja.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa hapa na mimi ni muathiriwa. Niliibiwa ng'ombe yangu tarehe 20 mwezi wa 5 na ikaenda ya hapa Embu Forest. Na tunaambia Ruto achunguze wasiri yake mzuri. Ni kama ananyanyasa Pokot.
Locals have pointed an accusing finger at police deployed in the area amid gunshots renting the air during evening hours as tension remains high. Pokot South Deputy County Commissioner David Bowen said the government responded to the incident and they are ready on the the said bandits to try and recover the livestock.
Lakini tumeamua saa
hii pale tumekaa, nimeongea na county commissioner na amesema tutafute KPR 15 tukuje tufanyie vetting kesho na tutafute bunduki tuwapatie wakae na askari wa astu watima pale.
Political leaders led by area MCA Samuel Korinyang have urged Interior CS Kindiki to deploy more security officers, expressing concerns about security officers' effectiveness in fighting banditry and called for changes, especially within the anti-stock theft police unit.
Tunakuomba kwa roho ya unyenyekevu utusaidie KDF waende Kamalakon chini ya masaa 24.
Naitwa Elizabeth Besusi. Mwezi moja imepita, eneo hili imeipiwa ng'ombe. Imeipa ng'ombe na iwezi ikarejeshwa. Alafu wakati waziri Kidingi alikuja hapa, aliahidi sisi atatuletea KDF kule Kamalakon. Na hadi wa leo hajatuletea KDF.
Now, a section of the National Council of Churches of Kenya, drawn from Kiambu and Nairobi region, have urged the president and his deputy to end the political bickering amongst their supporters and embrace dialogue, as it is threatening to split the country. Naomi Akoth with the details.
A section of the National Council of Churches of Kenya from Kiambu and Nairobi regions has urged the president and his deputy to end political bickering among their supporters and embrace dialogue to prevent further division in the country.
In the meantime, we call upon the president, His Excellency Dr. RUTO, and other concerned stakeholders to facilitate speedy reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. We are repeating this again. We have talked about it before. We remind all that the country is in a very precarious position and has already breached the constitution by failing to undertake the required boundaries review process.
Regional Chairman NCCK Reverend Alphonse expressed deep concern over the focus on electoral politics despite the elections being 3 years away, stating that this obsession hampers human, economic and infrastructural development in the nation.
National focus is still being reverted on electoral politics, yet elections are 3 years away. This persistent obsession with the elections by political leaders continues to hinder human and economic plus infrastructure development in our nation. We want to strongly call upon the political leaders, whether in government or outside, to cease the persistent electioneering and focus on delivering on their responsibilities.
The council has urged residents of Kiambu and Nairobi to participate in the public forum next Monday to share their views on the finance bill. They called on Parliament and the Senate to implement the National Dialogue reports involving the Electoral Independent and Boundaries Commission.
Nairobi region, take note that processes to implement the report of the National Dialogue Committee NADICO are continuing. It is, however, a major concern to us that most Kenyans are neither conversant with nor are they supporting the proposal made in the report. The piecemeal processing of the NADICO-related bills by Parliament means that the electoral reforms will be affected, but without adequate public participation. That means nobody understands what is in NADICO. And so when you do it in bits, it's going to affect Kenyans. We call upon the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate to publish the NADICO report in a manner accessible to all Kenyans.
Naomi Akoth, Lookuptv.
A section of MPs from Mount Kenya region have opposed Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's clarion call on the one-man, one-vote, one-shilling revenue allocation mantra, calling for an all-inclusive formula that will ensure resources are shared equally to Kenyans. This and more in our news wrap.
Mwea MP Mary Maingi has strongly opposed Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's one man, one vote, one shilling revenue allocated formula, calling it impractical due to resource scarcity. Speaking at a public participation event in Mwea, she advocated for devolving services closer to the people and equalizing bursary funds nationwide and urged for policy reforms to ensure fair resource distribution.
Instead of even talking about the one man, one vote, one shilling, let us start by devolving services. If it's something, let me give an example of education, a subject I'm so passionate about. In fact, when I talk about education, I think I get emotional. Let us not have some constituencies or some counties where they can afford, through their bursaries, to take their children for education overseas, Australia, UK, America, with bursaries. Yet, in my children in Mwea, I cannot even afford to give them anything more than 3,000 shillings per year.
Elsewhere, Samburu County is focusing on water and infrastructure improvements under the 4th Medium-Term Plan 2023 to 2027 of Kenya Vision 2030, a plan that emphasizes public participation and a bottom-up approach. Despite collaborative efforts between county and national government, there are concerns about recurring plans without proper implementation, especially due to insecurity and unmet promises.
We're working in collaboration, we're partnering with the national government to make sure all the medium-term plans that have been that are in place will be workable. As has been said, as a semi-arid county, ours is to strengthen, to make sure the same plans are going to go to the village and the county, to a village level, to make sure our people are involved, to make sure our people are involved on matters planning, on issues infrastructure, issues ECD, issues water, as has been said by the CSA.
Finally, Narok County is embarking on an ambitious tree planting campaign targeting 2.5 million trees to be planted this year. Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu made this announcement during the World Environment Day celebrations in Olkinyei area, Narok West Sub-County. He emphasized the importance of tree planting in preventing environmental disasters such as mudslides and floods, urging residents to participate in the initiative.
Lakini kwa mnajili ya county yetu, sisi kama county government ya Narok tukishikana ama tukishirikiana pamoja na hawa organization ambayo mliona hapa, tulikuwa na target yetu ya kupanda mche ama mti 4.5 every year, na nashukuru sana partners kwa sababu tumeweza kupanda mti 1.5. Hiyo inaonyesha kwamba kabla hatujafika mwisho wa mwaka inatakikana tupande zingine karibu 2.5.
Jasmine Maina, Lookuptv.
And we're taking a very short break here on the program. When we come back, we'll be running you through the day's sports. Don't go too far.
Sasa wewe ambao ungetaka kupika kahawa, ufike hapa. Leo ni siku yako.
This is a coffee grinder machine. So basically inasiaga tu kahawa. So ukisha siaga inafaa ijaze hii portafilter ambayo ni roughly 14 to 21 grams. So 14 to 21 grams ndio tunatumia hapa kutengeneza espresso itself. So from this unaweza tengeneza different types of coffee drinks. So with this one you can do a double cappuccino. Kwa hii espresso bado tunaweza tengeneza latte, tunaweza tengeneza mocha, tunaweza tengeneza aina nyingi sana kutoka kwa hii espresso. So mwanafunzi yule ambaye anaweza taka kujiunga nasi, tunafunza hapa, it's a 2 months course, so it's not miezi miwili peke yake.
Welcome back. Now let's get sporty. Sports Cabinet Secretary Babu Namwamba has given Shujaa 5.7 million shillings through the Talanta Hela program, saying that the initiative is helping sportsmen and women exploit their full potential by identifying, nurturing and developing talent across the country. Shujaa shot back to the World Rugby Series after defeating Germany in the promotion relegation playoffs held last weekend in Madrid.
but we actually have revised the allowances for all our teams competing outside. For local, actually we tripled the allowances that we found when we came to office. Local allowances, when you are here in camp, we raised that from 1,000 shillings, I think, to 3,000 per day. Foreign allowances, when you're out there, we tripled that from $60 to $200 per day. And that is also part of the new reward framework. And we'll continue to revise and improve our rewards. Na nyinyi shujaa, I mean, we've been together. Nyinyi wenyewe mmesema hapa tumekula ngoma several times. Tumekula ngoma hapa na nyinyi, okay? Times, and we'll continue to do it. And for the feat that you accomplished, we are presenting the team with a reward of 5 million shillings.
National volleyball defending champions KCB are in search of a second league title in a row as they will take on Kenya Prisons in the Kenya Volleyball Federation League playoffs finals this weekend. In the semi-finals that were held last weekend, KCB triumphed DCI 3-2 in the first leg of the semis and crushed them 3-0 in the return leg as they secured a spot in the finals.
We are training for the final match of this year's playoffs, this season playoffs, and we are meeting a team that is an experienced team, Kenya Prisons. It's going to be a tough match, but we are preparing well to see us through to win this second playoffs. So far we are working on our services, we are working on our defense, and we are working on the offense. So far so good, but we are struggling with the injuries. Our captain has a swollen knee, but we are hopeful that she'll be there when we start playing these playoffs. Our right player has injured already on the plaza. Chumba is now coming back, training, overcoming her injury. So we are hopeful that we are going to play well these playoffs and be the champions again.
And just like that, we come to the end of the broadcast this evening. Kennedy Jumba Serego across Facebook says, good evening, watching live from Likuyani, Kakamega County. We appreciate you for watching. And Kenneth Ohungud says he is watching live from Kitengela. Thank you so much. We appreciate your feedback and keep it right here on Lookuptv. The hashtag is Lookup News at Lookuptv on Facebook, Lookuptv on X, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. Let's keep conversations going. The Finance Bill 2024 across all our social media platforms, and as well to catch the latest of the stories that are making headlines within the country and beyond our borders. www.lookuptv.co.ke. I am Nancy Nalima. Our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Josephine Oko. Do have yourselves a pleasant evening and good night.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through